5th of May that we're most excited about, where we have the chance to elect our first ever Assembly member, if there's just a small increase in our vote. I'm hoping to be at the heart of a strengthened Welsh Assembly to fight against the dangerous and unnecessary cuts imposed by Westminster and argue for the alternative investment in new jobs and a low-carbon economy that will keep tax revenues up and benefit payments down. Here in Wales, the Labour Plaid Cymru coalition has been in power for nearly 4 years, and it's worth taking stock on a few issues. You've all heard the fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen about the emperor's new clothes. If you're told something enough times, you will start to think it's true, even if reality is somewhat different. Well, let me tell you that Labour and Plaid Cymru are standing here in front of us and all but naked. And it's not a pretty sight. Whether it's building a modern, sustainable economy across Wales, a school education that provides for all, creating a fairer society free from poverty, or the development of clean, low-carbon energy, the cloth, rather than being some fine patchwork wealth breath in, is looking threadbare, ragged, and all but missing. You know how the story ends with a boy calling out. Well, the Wales Green Party is calling out, the emperors have no clothes. Where Wales once powered the world, we must once again become the engine room of the green economy. Assembly coalition policies have left Wales poorly placed to withstand the forthcoming cuts in public expenditure and to develop the low-carbon economy so urgently needed to tackle the threat of climate change. There's been a lack of strategic long-term vision. We've seen a here-today, gone-tomorrow approach to jobs, the environment, and building a fairer society. Many have quite rightly been shocked by the recent announcement that Wales has fallen further behind in worldwide PISA educational tests in reading, maths and science. Spending in Wales is now £604 per pupil less than in England. While clearly there are areas for improvement in the education system, such as the staff-pupil ratio and ensuring a higher percentage of government funding actually reaches the schools, the evidence points to relative poverty and social deprivation being the key to lower educational attainment levels. Wales continues, after 4 years of Plaid coalition, to have some of the UK's worst areas of deprivation, with unemployment levels of 25 to 30%. Children whose families can't even afford to heat their homes are unlikely to do well at school. Last week we heard that 25% of children in Wales now live in poverty. Fuel poverty, up from 15% in 2004. This situation is only going to worsen as fossil fuel prices continue to increase, as peak oil nears and demand from developing countries such as India and China increases. In Wales, we have not used the planning system to prepare for a sustainable future, leaving us poorly placed to withstand the continuing increase in oil prices. Residential and commercial developments have been badly designed, failing to incorporate public transport, cycling or walking provision, forcing people into increasingly expensive car dependency. Until the economic downturn, the Lib Dem Plaid Cymru Council here in Cardiff continued to support a huge out-of-town business retail park at junction 33 of the M4, clearly unsustainable. Multinationals and supermarkets have been favoured at the expense of local businesses and shops, sucking money out of our communities. About a mile from here in Canton, there were already 2 Tesco stores when a third Tesco subsidiary opened just a stone's throw away, threatening the existence of local butchers and corner shops. You have to question the judgment of the Labour Plaid coalition. It was only a few months ago that they were supporting a £14 billion PFI-funded military training academy here in South Wales, with financial backing from the international arms manufacturer Raytheon. If it had been given the go-ahead, how soon before we would have been protesting in South Wales about military atrocities committed around the world by foreign governments or private security firms trained just 20 miles from here? This week we've seen the unedifying pictures of David Cameron leading an arms trade delegation around the Middle East with protesters fighting for their freedom and lives in Bahrain and Libya. It's disgraceful.